Hi, I am Gayatri from the Department of Zoology, PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. Today we are going to discuss about the excretion, types of excretion and patterns of excretion. That is patterns how the excretory products are removed from the body. So first question is what is excretion? We need to know about what is excretion, then we can move on about the types and patterns. So what is excretion? It is the process by which the metabolic wastes are removed from the body. So basically the metabolic wastes from the cells and tissues are removed and they are passed through the excretory organs, and through the excretory organs the metabolic wastes are removed from the body in the form of the liquid, or it may be in the form of the solid, or it may be in the form of semi-solid. So this is called as the then excretion in unicellular organisms. So as we know, organisms can be broadly classified into the unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. So now we are going to see about the excretion in the unicellular organism, that is a single cell organism. As the name suggests, it is a single cell organism, so it doesn't have the proper organ or tissue to eliminate the waste. So the single cell should carry out the waste, should carry out the process to eliminate the metabolic wastes that is accumulated within the cell. So basically in unicellular organisms what happens is the wastes are packed in the vesicle. So this vesicle is fused into the cell membrane, and through the cell membrane the vesicles, the wastes which is present in the vesicles are moved into the extracellular fluid. So no excretory organs are particularly involved in the unicellular organism. It simply occurs through the simple diffusion through the contractile vacuoles. So excretion takes place in this manner in unicellular organisms. Then we move on to the multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms like platyhelminthes have the flame cells, Annelida have the nephridia, insects have the Malpighian tubules, mollusca and all other vertebrates have the. So in repetition, sponges and coelentrates have the no specific organs like unicellular organisms to remove the wastes from their body. Platyhelminthes have the flame cells, that is repetitive. Annelida have the nephridia, insects, Malpighian tubules, and mollusca and other vertebrates have the kidneys. So we can see that in detail in the next slide. Here we go. Platyhelminthes have the flame cells for the excretion. Flame cells are nothing but it is a specialized form of cell which is excretory cell found in the freshwater invertebrates like platforms and rotifers. It functions like that of the kidney in the mammals. Bundle of the flame cells are known as the protonephridia. We saw that nephridia are present in the annelids. So it is called as the protonephridia. The bundle of flames is known as the protonephridia. So what is function? So how it functions is its function is to maintain the osmoregulation and excretion. What does mean by osmoregulation? Osmoregulation means the maintenance of solute and solvent within the internal environment of the body. So how it maintains? See the diagram. We have the body lumen which is marked as the number 5 here. So the cell lumen is present through which the nutrient and unwanted excretory products are also present or also pass through the lumen. So from the lumen only the waste products are vacuoled or packed in the vacuoles, and it is passed through the other layer which is known as the pseudopodial layer. So we can see is the number 1, okay, pseudopodial layer. So from the body lumen it is packed into the vacuole, and that vacuole is fused with the pseudopodia and it is excreted outside of the environment. Okay, this is how the platyhelminthes remove the waste products from the. The other one is Annelida. As I said, Annelida have the nephridia. What is called as a nephridia? Nephridia is similar to that of the kidneys. Okay, we have the kidneys. So think what a human organ is similar to this. So we all know the nephridia is similar to the kidney in the humans. So this nephridia is basically present throughout the segment, through all the segment of the earthworm except the first 3 segments. Okay. So what its function? Same function, osmoregulation, and it removes the metabolic wastes from the body. We, as I said, you know what is meant by osmoregulation. Now I hope you'll be clear what is meant by osmoregulation. So nephridia is of the ectodermal origin. That means it is formed from the ectodermal layer during the formation of the embryo. Then we insects. Insects have the malpighian tubules. So insects have the malpighian tubules to excrete the metabolic wastes from the body. Here the malpighian tubules are the fine thread-like yellow colored structure, which is it is basically a tube-like structure. So we have the midgut and hindgut. It is present at the junction of the midgut and the hindgut. How it functions? So from the midgut, the pre-urine is stored in the malpighian tubules. So this pre-urine is absorbed in the malpighian tubule. That is the nutrient substances and wanted minerals, wanted ions are reabsorbed into the body of the insects, and the wastes which is not required are passed into the hindgut and then into the rectum of the insect. So by this way, the waste products are excreted in the insects like arthropods. So we can see here it maintains the osmoregulation and it excretes the nitrogenous wastes and metabolites. So it is its main function. So what are the organs involved? The main organ involved here is malpighian tubule. Then we move on to the vertebrates. We are more familiar with this kidney. So it is very easy. I hope it is very easy to understand. So how the kidney functions. Kidney are they basically filter the blood. Okay, they filter the blood, and unwanted substances are not reabsorbed, and wanted substances are reabsorbed from the kidneys. So basically, the nephrons do this work. We all know about the nephrons. The nephrons are present at the kidney who reabsorb the wanted materials, wanted ions, and wanted nutrients from the blood. So here, the unwanted substances are then moved into the kidney will lead to the ureter, then urinary bladder, and last urethra. So these unwanted materials are collected and then passed through the excretory organs, and it moves out through the anus. So here the different word. What is meant by cloaca? You mentioned it has cloaca in the third one. So cloaca is nothing but it is a minute opening. It is not present in all organisms. It is present in certain amphibians, few reptiles and birds, and some mammals like moles and monotremes also have the cloaca, this minute opening. Like we have the anus, and these fellows have the cloaca to excrete the wastes from the body. Let's discuss about the structure of the kidney. So kidney, we know it is a pair of vein-shaped structure. It has a renal artery and renal vein which projects into the kidney. So we know renal artery will gives the oxygenated blood to the kidney. A renal vein will collect the deoxygenated blood, and it goes into the lungs for the oxygenation, and those things will happen. So here from the renal artery, the pure blood is passed into the kidneys. It leads to the other pyramid-like structures, which is called as the renal pyramids. So here we see above the ureter, we can see the renal pelvis here. The renal pelvis is a funnel-shaped structure. It leads to the hilum. Okay, hilum is the ending of the pelvis. So we can see here the major calyx and minor calyx. Major calyx and minor calyx leads to the renal pyramids, and then in renal pyramids we can see the renal papillae. So through the nephrons which is present in the kidneys, the waste which is not required, the nutrients which is not required for the body is collected and it passes through the renal papillae to the renal, from it to the minor calyx to the major calyx, and then to the hilum, and then to the renal pelvis, which leads to the ureter. Ureter will lead to the urinary bladder. You can see it on your left side, the pair of kidneys leading to the ureter, and ureter is when that blue colored ball-like structure is called as the urinary bladder, which stores the urine. It then leads to the urethra, and then the waste products are excreted out of the body. So this is the basic structure of the kidney. Then on to the types of excretion. Now we know about what is excretion, what are the organs which is involved in unicellular and multicellular organisms. Then we move on to the types of excretion. So we know ammonotelism, ureotelism, uricotelism, aminotelism, guanotelism are the 5 main types of excretion we see in detail in the next slide. So what is ammonotelism? Ammonotelism is the process of eliminating the ammonia. We know ammonia is very toxic to the tissues. So it shouldn't be stored for a very long time. It should be excreted very quickly. So ammonia is not stored. It is excreted very quickly due to its toxicity to the tissues. Then is ureotelism. Ureotelism is the process of excreting the urea. Here ammonia is converted into the urea in the liver, and this urea is eliminated through the excretory organs. It is comparatively very less toxic to the ammonia. Then uricotelism. The process of excreting or eliminating the uric acid is called as the uricotelism. So basically the uric acid is excreted in the form of the pellets. Due to the less water availability, the excretory product doesn't have the water, so it is excreted in the form of the pellet, and mostly it is excreted in white suspensions. It is very least toxic when compared to the ammonia, urea. So we can see what are the examples of the ammonotelic, ammonotelism, ureotelism and uricotelism. So ammonotelic is the animals which excretes the ammonia. Ureotelic is the animals which excretes the urea. Ureotelic animals is the animals who excrete the uric acid. So here are some examples for ammonia excreting animals: fishes, protozoans, echinoderms, poriferians and crustaceans. So urea excreting animals are mammals and amphibians. We all come under the ureotelic, and uricotelic, the animals which excrete the uric acid. So what are the examples? Reptiles, birds and insects comes under the uricotelic. These are the three main types of the excretion on the basis of what excretory product is excreted. Then the other two types are aminotelism and guanotelism. The process of excreting amino acid is called as the aminotelism. Here are the few examples: certain mollusks and echinoderms. Not all mollusks and echinoderm. I mentioned it as certain. Certain means some mollusks and echinoderms only will release the amino acid. It is very rare. And the fifth one is guanotelism, the process of excreting guanine. Here the amino acid is converted into the guanine. It is usually insoluble in water, so very less amount of water is excreted along with the guanine. Here are the examples: spider, some reptiles, birds. I mentioned it as birds, but not all birds are guanotelism and not all birds are uricotelism. Mostly the birds comes under the uricotelism, that is the birds mostly excrete the uric acid as the waste, metabolic waste. But some bird also releases guanine as the waste product, and earthworms also comes under the guanotelism. So we came into the other topic, which is called as the patterns of excretion. There are three patterns of excretion. One is continuous excretion, periodic excretion and storage excretion. So what is continuous excretion? Here the metabolic wastes are continuously eliminated from the body. There are no specific storage organs because it doesn't store the metabolic waste. So there is no need for the storage organs. What are the four main organs involved in the continuous excretion are kidneys, liver, lungs and skin. Kidneys, we saw previously how the kidney filter the blood and it removes the water, urea and creatinine. So here the nephron takes place. From the nephron it leads to the renal papillae. All those things we see in the previous slide. So we know kidneys how they remove the metabolic waste and excess water. The next is liver. Liver plays a very important role in the breaking down of toxic substances. That is, the substances which is very toxic to the body is broken down in the liver, and there the metabolic wastes are also removed. Third one is lungs. Carbon dioxide. So we take in oxygen and leave out carbon dioxide. So CO2 is also a form of the metabolic waste that is not required for the body. So we take in oxygen, it goes through the metabolic process. So oxygen oxidizes the food materials and it removes and it leads to the formation of the carbon dioxide within the cells and the tissues. These carbon dioxide are removed from the cells and tissues through the lungs, so the external that is external environment. The fourth one is skin. Skin removes the metabolites. How they remove the metabolites? We know the sweat glands are present in the skin, and through the sweat they remove the metabolites from the body. And second one, periodic excretion. The name suggests it requires the storage organ. So it removes the metabolic waste from the body at periodic intervals. So the name suggests at periodic intervals the wastes are removed from the body. So storage organs are involved. The storage organs may be bladder, as you mentioned earlier, urinary bladder. It may be rectum. Bladder is for urine storage and rectum is for feces storage. Okay. So where this periodic excretion is seen? Periodic excretion is seen in the organisms where they have the very limited resources to feed on. So they have the very limited resources to feed on. So they feed the food, and that food is converted into the energy and waste products, and the waste products are stored in the specific organs. There is bladder and rectum, and again in bladder and rectum some reabsorption will take place. So what is the example of this periodic excretion? Is just that is the actually uses the urinary bladder as a storage organ, and birds use the cloaca. Next one, third type, storage excretion. Here the metabolic wastes are stored within the body. Therefore the storage organs are involved, like bladder for urine and rectum for feces. Here the very high concentrator of urine and feces is eliminated, because here the availability for the food and water is very rare, like extreme cold temperature, extreme hot temperature. The animals which live in this kind of environment will follow this type of pattern. The example is camel. Camel have the very specialized kidneys which reabsorb the water and nutrients from the urine. Urine itself is the concentrated one. So from the urine again the reabsorption takes place, which leads to the very high concentrated urine and feces. So this is all about the storage excretion.